Look who's making headlines again. Pat Martin, NDP Member of Parliament, Winnipeg Centre, Parliament's most notorious mouth. And what's he running it on this time? Well, he's not happy about the way Canadian newcomers swear allegiance to their adopted homeland. Here's the oath of citizenship, folks. I swear or affirm I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada, her heirs and successors, and that I will faithfully observe the laws of Canada and fulfill my duties as a Canadian citizen. See, it's the monarchist language that Pat Martin doesn't approve of. He calls it fundamentally wrong, that new Canadians must swear allegiance to the British crown, as he puts it, and he wants that language removed. If only he were as passionate about resolving real problems in his riding, Winnipeg Centre, one of the most crime-ridden and poor ridings in Canada. For more, we turn to Mr. Monarchist himself, David Menzies, host of Menzoid Mornings here on the Sun News Network. Okay, well, like most things with propaganda, there has to be a kernel of truth, but there also has to be the big lie. She's not just the Queen of Britain, obviously. Even Pat Martin was taught when he was just a little boy in elementary school that she is the Queen of Canada.
You know, Charles, I'm approaching this from a different angle, and it's this. As you know, our country is less than 150 years old. We're an infant on the world stage. We have so little history under the banner of Canada, and this is part of it. And we have given up so much. I mean, you see the erosion, right? Dominion Day is now Canada Day. We have cafeterias at public school turning into mosques. We have segregated swimming. I just see a continuous erosion of all the things that made this country great, all the traditions getting tossed over the side. And therefore, for the people like Pat Martin, I say, you know what? Hands off the monarchy, hands off the Queen. It's just fine as it is. Thank you very much.
Why do you suppose that Pat Martin, in doing this, gets the support of so many folks in this country? Is it an anti-British thing, an anti-authority thing, an anti-old Canada versus new Canada? You tell me, David. You've looked at this a time or two.
Well, I think you're onto something. People like myself, I guess, Charles, are literally dying off, right? So the old Canada that actually has more of a bit of skin in the game in terms of wanting the monarchy to stick around are becoming, I guess, less of a demographic. So if it's a numbers game, this plays to the masses. But you know what, Charles? I'll read Pat Martin's quote in his own words. This is what he said. It's just so fundamentally wrong. These people are from all over the world, meaning immigrants to Canada, Charles. Paraguay and the Congo and the Philippines and Vietnam. Why are they swearing loyalty to some colonial appendage from the House of Windsor? It's bizarre, really. You know what? Here's what I find fundamentally wrong. I find the NDP fundamentally wrong. I find Pat Martin fundamentally wrong. I find their policies bizarre and fundamentally wrong, Charles. I mean, my goodness, doesn't that speak volumes? Oh, you know what? We have somebody from the Congo and Paraguay coming in, and they love Canada. It's perfect now. Let's change everything. I mean, this is insanity.
Well, the idea that people coming from Congo and Paraguay have a problem with swearing allegiance to the Queen of Canada is absurd on its face. If Pat Martin had a moral case, any kind of moral case to make their right versus wrong, how the Paraguayans and the Congolese feel, he would bring them forward. But he doesn't. He brings himself forward, claiming, as he and some of his cohorts always do, that they speak for the marginalized. They speak for the new Canadians. The other party speaks for the old Canadians. It's a tedious game. It's a tawdry game. And, of course, it's a phony game. That's why I'm calling it a game. All right, let's talk about something that is a lot more important to a lot more people than Pat Martin's latest opportunity to get his name in the news. And that is kilts, and that is Scotsman, and that is, I'll just call it the opportunity to reproduce. We now have research, or what passes for research, that says that men who wear kilts are more reproductive men.
Oh, I believe that, Charles. I mean, it comes down to the argument of boxers or briefs, right? Do you want your boys, harnessed in really tight, being really uncomfortable, like you're wearing a pair of tight new shoes? Or do you want, them to have a little, free range room, as the saying goes? And, you get no better free range than a kilt, my friend. In fact, Charles,
you're doing this very well, and you're doing it in a family way. John and Mary Canada do not have to be embarrassed if their kids or grandkids are hearing this. So you're basically saying that free range is much better than a tight shoe.
Charles, look at it this way. When you go to the beach, would you rather see a man wearing the baggy swimsuit trunks that are commonplace on this side of the pond, or a Speedo? That might fly in Europe, but I don't think we want things packaged like that. I still have my yellow Speedo from, circa 1978 high school. Last time I put it on, Lady Menzoid called it the old banana hammock, and that resigned it to the dresser drawer forever, Charles. So, yeah, and I'll tell you another thing. I'd wear my kilt more often, and this is a truism, if people would stop trying to look up my kilt. It happens every time. They want to see what's on under there. And it's like a form of sexual harassment, except it's a heterosexual male harassing another heterosexual male.
All right, well, I usually don't play inside baseball on the show, but because you brought it up, I'll do some inside baseball. One of our top producers, Jess, as in Jessica Chapman, requested that you wear the kilt for this particular segment. Are you suggesting that she was in some way harassing you?
You know what? Well, because she's a province away, I guess, she gets out of that in a get-out-of-jail-free card way, Charles. But I can tell you, if I pranced around in my kilt at Sun News, it would just be a disaster. There'd be all kinds of people all over. It happens every time. They got to grab it by the hem, lift it up, and see what's on under there. It's absolutely, there is no etiquette when it comes to a man wearing a kilt. Let's put it this way.
Okay, so you wear pants, my Scottish friend, because you're dressing defensively. Dress for defense.
When in Rome, my friend.
David, we learn something from you every night, and if you don't mind me telling you, this part of the segment was a lot more enjoyable than Pat's latest warblings. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Charles.
All right. David the Menzies, he's the host of Menzoid Mornings here on the Sun.